So, there's this story that's been making the rounds lately about a singer and a fan who's claiming they're in a secret relationship. It's got everybody talking, right? It really makes you think about that fuzzy line between being a fan and, well, something more like an obsession. That's exactly what we're going to dive into today, this really complex condition called erotomania.
I mean, let's be real for a second. Who hasn't had a crush on a celebrity? Or, someone you just admire from afar? It's a totally universal thing, right? A pretty harmless, totally normal part of life.
Okay, but what if that crush morphed into something else? What if you became absolutely convinced that they loved you back? Like truly believed it, even if you've never, ever met. Imagine scrolling through their social media and every single post, every lyric in their new song, you see it as a secret message, a clue meant just for you. That's when we cross a line from a simple fantasy into something much, much deeper.
And that really gets to the heart of the matter. Is this just a really intense kind of love, or is it actually a mental illness? We're going to use that story I mentioned as a jumping-off point to really understand what's going on here.
So in the case of this singer, his people were crystal clear. We don't know this man, there is no relationship. But for the fan, the relationship was 100% real. It was just being kept under wraps. This massive gap between two people's realities isn't just a simple misunderstanding. It is the absolute core of a condition we call erotomania.
All right, so let's get into it. What exactly is erotomania from a clinical standpoint? We're going to break down the specific features that define it and really show how it's different from just being an obsessive fan.
Okay, so erotomania, you might also hear it called Clérambault syndrome, is a type of delusional disorder. The main thing to know is that it's a powerful, unshakable, and completely false belief that someone is in love with you. And here's the key part. The object of this delusion is almost always somebody with a higher social status. Think a big-time celebrity, your boss, a politician, you get the idea.
And the way this delusion works is, honestly, it's fascinating. The person believes the celebrity or public figure fell in love with them first. It wasn't the other way around. So if that celebrity comes out and says, "I don't know this person," well, that's just seen as proof. It's a clever way to keep their passionate, secret love affair hidden from the world. The whole relationship is built on this foundation of hidden signs and secret signals, not actual contact.
And you can probably guess what pours gasoline on this fire, right? Social media. It gives this constant 24/7 look into the lives of public figures, which means there's an endless stream of content just waiting to be misinterpreted.
Just think about it for a second. A singer posts a picture of their breakfast. To millions of followers, it's just a picture of some avocado toast. But to someone with erotomania, the way the avocado is sliced, the caption, the time it was posted, it's all a secret love letter, a hidden message meant only for them to decode. Now, this delusion isn't something that just stays the same. It actually tends to follow a very predictable and kind of scary path. So let's walk through how this belief can change and evolve over time.
The psychiatrist who first really identified the syndrome, Clérambault, he noticed that this belief doesn't just sit still. He saw it move through three pretty clear stages.
So it usually kicks off with this hope stage. The person is actually happy, They're living in this secret love story, maybe sending gifts, just waiting for the big public announcement. But then the rejections keep coming, and that hope starts to sour into resentment. And from there, it can curdle into something really dark, rancor. The love literally turns into hate. The delusion shifts, and now they believe that this person, who they thought loved them, is actually out to get them, persecuting them. And that's the stage where things can get really, really dangerous.
So that, of course, leads to the big questions. What causes something like this, and what can be done about it? The causes are definitely complex, but the good news is that there are ways to manage it. There is help available.
So what triggers erotomania? Well, the honest answer is, we don't know for sure. Sometimes it just shows up on its own, but a lot of the time it's connected to other mental health conditions where delusions can be a symptom, like schizophrenia or bipolar disorder.
When it comes to treatment, it's really a team effort. It's not just one thing. As you can see, it often involves a combination of medication to help dial down the delusional thinking and psychotherapy, like CBT, to help the person challenge those beliefs and learn new coping skills. The big goal here is to get the person stable and, most importantly, make sure everyone involved is safe.
So, we've talked about the clinical side, but it's so important to talk about the human side too, because really, Understanding what this is the only way we can start to have empathy for everyone who gets caught up in it. And we have to be super clear on this point. Eromania is not just a really big crush, not even close. When you have a crush, you're living in reality. You know it's probably one-sided. With eromania, the person is living in a delusion. They are 100% certain the love is mutual. A crush fades. This is a fixed, clinical condition that doesn't just go away, and it can lead to some really scary behaviors like stalking.
And this brings us to a really tough but super important point. There are two victims here. The celebrity, the target of this fixation, is absolutely a victim of harassment and stalking, and that is never, ever okay. But the person with erotomania is also a victim. They're a victim of a serious illness that has completely taken over their sense of reality. It's not something they can just turn off.
So, at the end of the day, understanding what erotomania actually is, that's the first step. It's how we can start to have a little more compassion, you know? It helps break down that stigma that stops people from getting the help they desperately need. So next time a story like this hits the news, maybe we can see past the crazy label and see someone who is genuinely sick and needs our support. Because that awareness is how we can help everyone involved find their way back to safety. Thanks for sticking with me on this one.